Hey there, boys and girls. Tsufit here with the book Step into the Spotlight, A Guide to Getting Noticed. Introduction. I'm thinking of making this book available in a brown wrapper, a brown paper bag, or maybe giving it a fake book jacket, Migratory Patterns of Birds. Because truth be known, most people would rather be caught buying a porno flick than a book like this, or a book I saw recently at a bookstore called Brag. It's crass, it's embarrassing to have to self-promote, to toot your own horn, to seek fame and attention, isn't it? Maybe it's time for a new perspective on this. If you ask most people why they're doing what they're doing, some will tell you they just want to be a gazillionaire, but others will admit to you that they just want to help people, right? They just want to make a difference. But how are you ever going to reach the people that you want to help if they've never heard of you, if they don't even know that you exist? You can't save souls in an empty church. That's what David Ogilvy said, advertising guru. So it's not crass to want to make a name for yourself or have the people who need you be able to find you. Once you've stepped into the spotlight, you can go out and you can help others do the same. As an actress, as a singer, as a comedian, I've read a ton of books about the business aspects of show business. Books aimed at getting actors and singers to understand that there's way more to the profession than let's put on a show in a barn. But it never occurred to me that one day I'd be writing a book for business about the lessons that can be learned from show business. I watched a lot of TV growing up. In fact, I consider it one of my greatest learning experiences. I graduated top of my class from the 19-inch Institute of Higher Learning. TVs were a lot smaller back in the day. And I always wanted to be a star, but it wasn't a direct route to stardom. I went to law school, I made the dean's list, and then I did the biggest show of my life, Tsufit Goes to Bay Street. Kind of like Wall Street, only colder. And like those Legally Blonde movies, but with a pink Gucci briefcase, without the pink Gucci briefcase. So then I took the lead in 4 Kids in 4 Years, the musical. Yeah, that's me. One day I thought, there's got to be more to life than this. And so I made a monumental decision. I decided, I left the law, kept the kids, and decided to follow my dream of being an actress and a singer. My parents were predictably thrilled. You're leaving law to be a what? Actress schmactress, I think is the direct quote. But I did it my way. I left law for the limelight. I left business for show business. I performed at comedy clubs and amphitheaters. I played an evil cafeteria lady named, what was her name? Ludmila Kropotnik, on a national TV show for 4 years. I did commercials here in Canada and in Europe. And I released a music CD called Under the Mediterranean Sky. And people wanted to know, how did I do it? Well, here's how I did it. I made the transition and I got a lot of attention because I've been on stage all my life, right? For me, getting involved and getting noticed has never been a problem. In high school and university, boy, did I have chutzpah in university. More about chutzpah in chapter 2. By the ripe old age of 19, I had asked Donald Sutherland out to breakfast. I had asked Carol Baker if I could be her backup singer. I had asked Joan Rivers if I could be on her TV show. She had a late night talk show. And years later, I actually met Joan Rivers at a conference I was at, and I stood up in front of 1,000 people, and I told her that I wrote to her. I asked if the letter that she wrote me back, the rejection letter, but it was a really nice one, was actually written by her, and she said yes. It was a really long, nice letter. And I showed it to her, I gave her a copy, so. But back in the day, I did stuff like that. I sang, I acted in live TV shows across the country, all through university, highlighting my textbooks between scenes. So it wasn't much of a transition, right? As a return to my natural state. Still people want to know, how could they do that? How could they be a star? So they asked me to coach them, and I did. When attending business functions, I found that I was an instant hit. I got attention, I got clients. What was my secret? Everybody wanted to know. Did I attract clients with just a 30-second spiel? Well, I guess all those years of performing, both on stage and in court, actually did pay off. And I applied what I learned as a performer and an entertainer to my business. So now I show business, how to use show business to get business. Now, just one note, I inhale books. I buy them, I pile them, and I read them 8, 10 at a time. I have more books than the average metropolitan library. That was true when I wrote it. It's no longer true, YouTube. I got rid of a ton of books, but it was true. And the musician in me is influenced by the music she listens to. And just like that musician, I'm sure I've absorbed many of the ideas that I've read from other people. They mix with my own, I add my own stories, and they become, or so I think, my ideas. It would be impossible to go back and thank all the people that I've read for all the ideas and all their contributions, mainly because I don't know who said what. So, by the way, this used to really bother me until I noticed that everybody else was doing it too, and everybody else was borrowing from each other. So in the words of Mark Twain, what a good thing Adam had. When he said a good thing, he knew nobody had said it before. That was Mark Twain. So if you find some of your brilliance in this book, know that I thank you, I honor you, I acknowledge you here, i.e. don't sue me. And now let's get started. The spotlight awaits. Tsufit, that was the introduction to Step into the Spotlight. If you want to get your own copy of Step into the Spotlight, see the show notes, and I'll be back soon with chapter 1.